The galaxy had waited for decades for a chance at peace. Countless star systems had fought wars, built walls, and strengthened fleets, hoping someday the violence would end. The Council of Worlds had sent invitations to Earth, a planet whose humans were known for their strange mix of curiosity and cunning. They hoped Earth would join the talks, bring wisdom, and help calm tensions. Ambassadors from every corner of the galaxy prepared to meet, polishing uniforms, checking weapons, and rehearsing speeches. In their minds, they imagined careful negotiations, polite debates, and promises of cooperation. No one imagined what would really arrive. Inside the Earth Command Center, Admiral Kara walked slowly down the metallic corridor, her boots clicking against the floor. The hum of the engines and distant chatter of officers filled the room, but a tension lingered in the air. She paused in front of the main viewport, staring at the dark void of space. Thousands of stars stretched endlessly, but none were as important as the neutral station hovering at the edge of the Sol system. The station itself was massive, a hub of diplomacy and commerce, designed to host delegations from dozens of species without conflict. Every alien ship approaching it was monitored carefully by Earth's scanners. Some were sleek and fast, others massive and heavily armed, all moving with the confidence of civilizations that had survived wars and betrayal. Yet none could match the quiet power of the Titan warship preparing in orbit above Earth. Kara's hand rested lightly on the control panel, her fingers almost trembling with anticipation. The Titan was not just a ship, it was a statement, a machine built with the highest technology humanity had ever achieved. Its hull was nearly indestructible, its engines capable of reaching speeds that would make most alien vessels appear frozen. And its weapons that could destroy entire fleets if needed, lay silent for now. The humans did not need to threaten, yet the presence of the Titan spoke louder than any words. In the Council's imagination, Earth would send diplomats, polite men and women to sit at a table and talk. Instead, the Titan would arrive, a silent declaration of human strength, a reminder that underestimating Earth could be deadly. On the neutral station, the alien delegations began to notice changes in the sensors. They whispered among themselves, uncertain of what they were seeing. A Xerthian commander leaned over to his aide. "Why does the Earth ship look different? It seems alive." No one had expected a warship of such scale, nor did they understand why it had come before negotiations even began. The humans, meanwhile, observed every reaction, every twitch of fear or awe across the galaxy's representatives. It was all part of the plan, the first move in a game that had no words, only presence. Back on Earth, Kara activated the communication systems, but not for speech. A low-frequency pulse spread outward, reaching every alien ship in orbit. It was subtle, almost imperceptible, yet powerful enough to make every captain pause. The pulse carried a message that could not be ignored. "We are ready, we are capable, and we are patient, but we will not be weak." Alien sensors recorded the readings, their scientists puzzled and anxious. It was not a threat exactly, but it carried the weight of one. For the first time, the galaxy realized that diplomacy could be quiet, yet loud. Subtle yet undeniable. Hours turned into days as the alien fleets observed the Titan, their leaders debating what move to make. Some argued for caution, others for aggression, but all felt a strange respect mixed with fear. The humans remained calm, almost indifferent to the speculation. Every move the aliens made was watched and recorded, analyzed for weaknesses, for pride, for hesitation. And yet, no one dared provoke humanity, not while the Titan loomed silently above. Every thought of war had to be measured against the reality of what Earth had created. Meanwhile, on the station, the council convened in a large chamber, walls lined with glowing panels displaying ships, star maps, and communications. The alien leaders were tense, their bodies rigid as they waited for Earth's representatives, expecting polite greetings and formalities. Instead, they received silence, a calm that was heavier than words. The Titan did not move aggressively, it did not shout, it did not fire, and yet it commanded the attention of every being present. Even those who had faced countless wars and battles felt their hearts quicken, unsure of what the humans might do next. In that moment, the galaxy understood something crucial. Earth did not need to argue or negotiate immediately. Its power and preparation were the message, and it was enough to make fleets stop in their tracks, to make leaders reconsider their plans, to make the galaxy hold its breath. Admiral Kara turned away from the viewport and gave a single nod to her officers. The first step in the dance of diplomacy had begun, and humanity had already set the rules. The galaxy expected talks, but what arrived was far greater, far louder, far more decisive. The Titan warship waited, silent and imposing, and the galaxy froze. The council chamber was grand, filled with representatives from dozens of star systems. Each alien delegate wore their colors and symbols proudly, signaling the history and strength of their people. They had gathered expecting speeches, debates, and careful negotiations. Instead, the moment they looked out of the observation windows, they froze. The Titan warship hung silently above the neutral station, larger than anything any species had seen before. Its smooth, dark hull reflected distant starlight, and its presence seemed to fill the entire chamber. The room, once full of chatter, fell into tense silence. Ambassador Ryal of the Zerthians leaned forward, his claws gripping the table. "They sent a warship?" he whispered, almost in disbelief. No one answered, for the question did not need an answer. The alien leaders felt a strange chill, a mix of awe and fear. The humans had made a statement without a single word. The galaxy was starting to understand that Earth played by its own rules. Inside the Titan, Admiral Kara and her officers watched every reaction carefully. Screens showed alien faces frozen with apprehension, their ships moving more cautiously than usual. No signal had been sent, no speech delivered, yet the effect was immediate. Every leader understood that the humans were patient, observant, and ready. A single mistake could provoke retaliation, and everyone knew it. The council's chamber walls vibrated faintly as the Titan sent out a low-frequency pulse. It was a subtle, undetectable power that spread through the station, touching every ship in orbit. The aliens felt it in their bones, a silent warning and a quiet promise. The pulse said without words, "We are strong, we are prepared. We do not negotiate from fear, we negotiate from strength." Some ambassadors gasped, some leaned back in shock, and others swallowed hard. They realized that diplomacy would not follow the old rules here. Earth had redefined the balance of power. The galaxy had expected arguments, treaties, and formal discussions. Instead, it had been shown raw, undeniable capability. Captain Gila of the Korak fleet exchanged worried looks with her second-in-command. "This is beyond negotiation," she muttered. Her people had faced war before, but the Titan was unlike anything in their history. Every weapon on that ship could destroy fleets several times larger than theirs, and yet it waited, silent and patient. It was a test of will, not a battle, and every alien in the chamber understood it. Hours passed, and the tension did not ease. Small fleets moved closer to the station, testing human patience. Earth's observers noted every movement, every hesitation, every flicker of aggression, yet the Titan remained motionless, its massive frame a constant, unyielding presence. Every captain learned quickly provocation would accomplish nothing, and the humans had all the time. The council tried to continue discussions in the chamber, but the air was heavy with unease. Ambassadors spoke in careful tones, choosing words that would not offend. Their faces betrayed their fear. Even seasoned diplomats struggled to maintain composure. Every glance at the Titan reminded them of what humans were capable of. Kara studied the alien reactions with quiet satisfaction. They assumed words would rule the day, that politics would decide the outcome. They had underestimated humans. The Titan was not just a ship. It was a statement of philosophy, of approach, of vision, peace, but only on humanity's terms. Strength, not bluff, would speak first, and silence could command more respect than 100 speeches. Some delegates tried to rally confidence, suggesting that Earth might be bluffing. Others debated whether to accelerate negotiations before the humans acted. Yet every plan fell apart as the pulse spread through their systems again, subtle yet undeniable. Alien scientists monitored readings, trying to explain the sensation. It was not an attack, not yet, but it left no doubt that the humans were ready. The Council realized that their own talks, their own clever arguments, were now secondary. They were playing a game set by the humans, and the rules had been rewritten. By the third day, whispers traveled between the chambers, through corridors, and across the station. Earth does not speak. It shows, some muttered. Others said, they wait, they watch, and they will decide when the galaxy is ready. Every species began to respect the quiet, measured power that humanity had displayed. No one could ignore the lesson the Titan had delivered. Words could be empty, promises could be broken, but presence and strength, demonstrated without aggression, could command loyalty, fear, and respect all at once. Inside the Titan, Kara allowed herself a small smile. The first step of the plan had succeeded perfectly. The galaxy had expected diplomacy, but humans had delivered strategy. Patience and a lesson. The Council would not forget it, nor would any fleet commander or ambassador, for the Titan had spoken without a voice, and every being in the room understood it perfectly. The silence in the Council chamber was absolute. Every alien felt it heavy and alive, and for the first time, the galaxy knew that Earth was not just a planet to negotiate with. It was a force to be reckoned with. The Titan's shadow stretched across the station. A quiet warning, and the Council could only wait, knowing that the humans would decide the next move. Days passed and the galaxy remained tense. No one dared move too quickly. No one dared speak too boldly. The Titan warship hung in orbit like a silent sentinel, its presence constant, unyielding inside the ship. Admiral Kara and her officers studied every fleet, every maneuver, every minor adjustment. The humans were patient, knowing that the galaxy itself would reveal its intentions in time. The alien fleets were restless, testing boundaries with small, cautious movements. Ships edged closer to the station, weapon systems active but unlaunched. Some ambassadors tried to pressure their allies, suggesting that Earth's humans were bluffing. Captain Jilla of the Korak fleet frowned, watching her screens. "They are not bluffing," she muttered. Her people had faced many wars, but the Titan was unlike anything they had known. Its hull seemed to absorb fear as easily as it absorbed light. Every human move was calculated, measured, and silent, yet that silence carried more weight than any weapon. One afternoon, the Titan shifted its massive form in orbit. Its engines glowed briefly as it moved into a position that directly faced the largest fleet. No weapons were fired, no alarms blared, and yet every alien commander understood immediately what it meant. The Titan could strike any ship in an instant. Yet it waited. It was not a threat exactly, but it was a warning, a demonstration of capability. Alien fleets hesitated, unsure of how to respond. Even the bravest captains felt the weight of human patience and power pressing down on them. Inside the council chamber, ambassadors whispered among themselves. "This is a test," some said. "Humanity is watching our every decision," others replied. The air was thick with tension. Every movement of a ship, every signal picked up by sensors, was analyzed for weakness, for pride, for hesitation. The galaxy began to see that humans did not need words to control a situation. The Titan's presence was enough to bend even the proudest fleets to caution. Kara observed the reactions with careful eyes. The aliens assumed that diplomacy relied on speeches and rhetoric. They had underestimated humans once again. Strength, patience, and timing were the tools of negotiation now, and humans wielded them with precision. Every ripple in the council chamber, every anxious glance from a fleet commander, fed into the strategy. The galaxy had begun to learn a new lesson, that sometimes silence could speak louder than words. Then, one small fleet attempted a maneuver too close to the station, testing the limits of human patience. Sensors on the Titan detected every movement instantly, every vector, every minor adjustment in speed. Kara raised her hand, but no command was given to fire. Instead, the Titan shifted its weapons slightly, aiming its largest cannons in a clear demonstration. The pulse of energy from the ship extended outward again. Subtle but powerful, it reached every ship, vibrating in ways that alien technology could sense but not fully measure. The effect was immediate. Every ship pulled back. Every captain reconsidered. No one wanted to push too far. No one wanted to provoke humans. The lesson was clear. Humanity was patient. Yes, but also unstoppable if provoked. Inside the council chamber, discussions became quieter, more careful. No one wanted to offend. No one wanted to misread the situation. Words now seemed secondary. Actions had replaced them. Every fleet, every ambassador, and every observer understood that Earth controlled the first move. And for now, that control was absolute. Some diplomats tried to argue, suggesting alliances and strategies to challenge humanity. Others debated whether to leave entirely, fearing the consequences of a single mistake. But every plan faltered under the weight of observation. The humans had all the time, all the patience, and every tool necessary to respond. And yet they waited, calm and silent, letting the galaxy reveal itself. By the fourth day, whispers filled corridors across the station. Earth watches. Earth waits. Earth decides when the next move is made. Every species began to understand that humans had rewritten the rules. Diplomacy was no longer about words or promises. It was about presence, strength, and strategic patience. And the Titan had already proven that humanity mastered all three. Kara allowed herself a small smile, watching alien reactions unfold like pieces on a game board. No speeches had been made, no weapons fired. Yet the galaxy had been reminded in ways words never could. Humans had tested the will of every fleet and every leader, and every being present now understood that Earth was not to be underestimated. The Titan waited, massive and silent, its shadow stretched across the station like a warning, and the galaxy realized with a mixture of awe and fear that the humans held the power, the patience, and the knowledge to decide the next chapter of history. The test of will was complete, and the galaxy would never forget the lesson. The galaxy had been holding its breath for days. Alien fleets hovered near the neutral station, hesitant to make any sudden moves. Every species felt the weight of humanity's presence. Inside the Titan warship, Admiral Kara and her officers observed silently, calculating, waiting for the right moment. Finally, the council requested a formal meeting, not aboard the neutral station, but on the Titan itself. A small delegation of alien leaders was allowed to board. They entered through sleek docking bays, stepping into a corridor that gleamed with polished metal and soft lighting. Every step they took seemed smaller than usual, as if the ship's sheer scale intimidated them. The humans walked alongside them, calm, composed, and almost indifferent. No one spoke unnecessarily, no one rushed, and yet every movement carried authority. The observation deck stretched before them, wide and panoramic, showing the stars outside. The alien delegates paused, gazing at the view. The Titan dwarfed every other ship they had ever seen. Its massive engines and silent weapon systems a reminder of what humans had created. The aliens could not help but feel awe. Mixed with a deep respect that bordered on fear, Admiral Kara stepped forward, her voice calm but firm. "Earth wants peace, but we will not be weak," she said. Her words were simple, yet every delegate understood the meaning clearly. There would be no empty promises, no lies dressed as diplomacy. Humanity spoke plainly and expected others to do the same. For hours, the discussions were careful and measured. Every delegate chose words that would not offend. Every answer was weighed against potential consequences. Humans listened, asked questions, and responded with logic and precision. No one could dominate the conversation because humanity's power was present in every gesture. Every glance, every calculated silence, the Council began to understand that the humans had rewritten the rules of diplomacy. Strength and patience, displayed with quiet confidence, could speak louder than centuries of debate. Outside, alien fleets watched, sensing the shift in strategy. Some argued that humans were too patient, too calm. Others realized that humans had all the advantage, all the time. No one could challenge them without risking disaster. Even the bravest captains and most confident leaders began to reconsider their position. The Titan had already shown its power, but it had not yet struck, and that was exactly the point. Inside the observation deck, the alien leaders began to negotiate honestly. There were no tricks, no hidden plots, only careful discussion. Humans responded with clarity, logic, and subtle reminders of their capability. By the end of the first day, tentative agreements had begun to form. The galaxy had learned that humanity's strength was not in attack, but in control, patience, and strategic presence. Some diplomats whispered to each other in disbelief. They expected words, yet strength has done the talking, one said. Another replied, "We must respect them. We have no choice." Even those who had been proud and aggressive felt a shift in their perspective. The Titan warship, silent and imposing, had changed the game. The galaxy understood that humanity could maintain peace, but only on its terms. Any act of deception or aggression would be met with decisive action. By the second day, the atmosphere on the Titan became calmer. Delegations spoke with more confidence, but always carefully. The humans had set the tone, and the aliens had accepted it. It was a fragile peace, built on understanding and respect, not trust or familiarity. Every participant knew that the slightest misstep could unravel the progress made, and yet, the lessons learned from the Titan's silent presence ensured that all would act wisely. Kara observed quietly, noting each reaction, each subtle gesture of understanding. The humans had achieved what many believed impossible. The galaxy had been forced to respect Earth not through threats or war, but through demonstration of strength, intelligence, and control. It was a fragile peace, yes, but it was real. The Titan had spoken, and every fleet and every council member had listened. As the delegations departed, whispers filled the corridors, stories of the Titan's power, of humanity's calm and quiet strategy, traveled across the station and into every fleet. The lesson was clear. Humans had redefined diplomacy. No longer was negotiation about speeches or threats. It was about presence, patience, and the ability to act decisively when necessary. Peace had been preserved. The galaxy had been reminded that humans were not to be underestimated, and every species would remember the Titan warship and the quiet authority of the humans who commanded it. Admiral Kara watched the stars outside the observation deck. The galaxy had learned a lesson. Earth had shown that strength and wisdom could coexist, and the fragile peace that had been established would shape the future. The Titan waited silently above, a reminder that humanity's watchful eye never rested, and that the galaxy would think twice before challenging the humans again. The delegations had departed the Titan, returning to their home systems with stories to tell. Whispers of Earth's power spread faster than light across the galaxy. Every fleet, every ambassador, every civilian who heard the tale felt a mixture of awe, respect, and a touch of fear. The Titan warship had shown that humans were not merely another species in the galaxy. They were a force to be reckoned with. Admiral Kara stood on the observation deck, her eyes tracing the stars stretching endlessly into the void. The galaxy had changed forever. Humans had sent a clear message. Strength did not require words. Patience could be a weapon, and intelligence combined with courage could redefine diplomacy. The Titan had spoken without firing a single shot, and every being that witnessed its presence understood the lesson perfectly. Back on the neutral station, fleets discussed what had occurred. Ambassador Rahl of the Zerthians leaned toward his aide, whispering, "We underestimated them, and we will never do it again." Other species nodded in agreement. Realizing that Earth's humans had redefined power, it was no longer about the largest fleet, the strongest weapons, or the most cunning politics. It was about presence, precision, and the ability to act when the moment demanded. The galaxy had learned humility that day, and it would not forget it. On Earth, scientists, engineers, and officers celebrated quietly. The mission had been successful without a single battle. The Titan had proven its worth, not just as a warship, but as a symbol of humanity's ingenuity, determination, and courage. Kara allowed herself a small smile. Knowing that humans had played the game exactly as they needed to, the galaxy had seen power, but it had also seen restraint, and in that balance, humanity had earned respect across star systems. Messages were sent, reports compiled, and stories told. The Titan became more than a ship. It became a legend. Children on distant planets would grow up hearing tales of Earth's humans and the silent warship that froze the galaxy. The story spread not as fear, but as a lesson in vigilance and respect. Humanity had shown that even the most powerful civilizations could be confronted, not with war, but with patience, intelligence, and the quiet assertion of strength. Some fleets debated whether humans might strike next. Others argued that Earth's strategy was brilliant, a combination of logic, psychology, and sheer technological power. No one could challenge humans lightly. Every species understood that humanity had not yet reached its full potential, and the galaxy waited, quietly, respectfully, and sometimes nervously for the next move. Kara walked the Titan's corridors, her mind clear and focused. The mission had been a success, but the galaxy was vast and challenges were inevitable. Humans would continue to explore, to protect, and to demonstrate their capability. The Titan would remain a symbol, a reminder to all civilizations that Earth did not make threats lightly, and that the humans who commanded it were always prepared. Back on the neutral station, ambassadors compiled reports for their home systems. They debated what lessons they had learned. Every fleet commander spoke carefully to their governments, describing the calm, calculated presence of the humans. For once, words seemed inadequate to convey the full power and precision of what they had witnessed. The Titan's silent authority had already changed the course of galactic diplomacy, and every civilization now knew that Earth could not be ignored, underestimated, or challenged without consequence. As the stars shimmered outside the Titan, Kara reflected on what had been achieved. The galaxy had seen humanity in full display, not just as a capable species, but as a civilization that could balance strength, patience, and wisdom. The legend of the Titan warship was only beginning. It would be remembered for generations, not as a story of war, but as a story of respect, ingenuity, and the quiet power of humans who never relied solely on words. The galaxy had frozen before the Titan, and now it would always remember. Earth had shown that presence could command more than speeches, that patience could teach more than threats, and that humans were not a species to be underestimated. And somewhere in the deep void of space, every fleet, every leader, and every citizen carried the story forward, a story of courage, intelligence, and the silent Titan that had made the galaxy pause. Admiral Kara looked at the stars one last time. The mission was over, but the legend had just begun, and humanity, quiet, patient, and powerful, would continue to write its place in the galaxy. The Titan waited, eternal and silent, a reminder to all that strength could be quiet, and silence could speak louder than words.